Share your audience. Share the screen to your audience. There you go. Welcome to the Ace Capone Show. I am your host, Ace Capone. If you like the channel, please hit the like button and hit the bell for notifications. If you want to contribute to the show, I have Cash App, my Buy Me a Coffee, because I don't drink coffee, but you can buy me one anyway to support the show. Always looking for opportunities to get new equipment and to uh, improve the production of the show. Um, right now, you have this Epstein debacle going on, and right now, people are losing their minds. People are pointing fingers to Trump as if Trump and Epstein were born of the same woman and that they hung out as children and they didn't know anyone else. The Democrats want you to think that Trump is the devil. They have already defamed the man by calling him a pedophile. They are saying he has been with women. They have no proof whatsoever, but that doesn't matter because the mainstream media hates Trump. The mainstream media wants to smear Trump, and the mainstream media wants everyone to think that you have a monster in the White House. This is far from the truth, but this is what we're dealing with in this country right now. The Epstein files have been released, half of them. There are many more to come. And what we have right now is you have a bunch of silence that is being exploited as fact. So, in other words, we're going to tell people that we have files. We're going to tell people that, oh, yeah, Trump is mentioned. We're going to say that, yeah, we have proof. We don't have to show you any proof, but we're going to say that there's proof because we want you to believe our fake narrative. And this is what people are falling for. The media is bought and paid for by people, a certain group of people who hate America. This is why they omit information. This is why they tell you a story instead of telling you the story. The media is the enemy of America. It is there to indoctrinate you, it is there to shape your values and shape your thoughts and your behavior. People behave based on what they hear and what they see. So in this case, we have Trump, and they'll show you Trump at a party. I believe the party is in Mar-a-Lago because Trump has never been on the island. They can't prove that Trump has ever been on the island. They'll say, "Oh, he was on the flight logs." Well, Trump has his own plane. Why would he want to have to be on a flight log? He has his own plane. If he's going to fly somewhere, he's always flying his own plane. So make it make sense. And they say, "Oh, Trump is at a party." Well, yeah, he was at a party, but it was his own party at Mar-a-Lago. I was watching a video yesterday where you have Trump and they're looping it, just Trump talking to a guy. Then he turns to Epstein and says something and he points. And then they have a video of Trump kissing a woman. And all of a sudden, it's, oh, Trump is messing with young girls. Well, those girls are of age. And those girls are when he was single and he's kissing a girl. And what's your point? So basically, you take a guy who is a ladies' man, you have a guy who's a ladies' man, and they're saying to you, because Trump is a ladies' man, that means that he is a pedo. This is their line of logic, and they want you to buy into it. It doesn't make sense, but this is what if a thinking person would have to say, well, what are you trying to say? This we already know that this guy was a playboy. He's a playboy and he had lots of women, model level women. His wife now is beautiful. And you're trying to say that this guy had to hold the audience of a Jeffrey Epstein to get women. Now, if you just said of so like someone like John Podesta, someone like uh, 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 well, Bill Clinton doesn't have to, but Bill Clinton, hey, he likes him. Bill Clinton likes everybody. Now, if you showed me Joe Biden on that island, I'd buy it because Joe Biden is in lots of pictures with young girls, sniffing them and carrying on. And the media totally ignored it. For years, we saw Joe Biden making children feel weird. And if that was Donald Trump, they would have been all over it. They would have said, "What is wrong with the president? He's weird. Why is he making children uncomfortable?" But they didn't do that. They ignored it. They wanted you to say, "Oh no, he's just friendly with children. He likes ice cream." Well, people in those little white vans like giving children treats too. So can I make that assumption of Joe Biden? This reach out for Trump is just a ruse because the Epstein files has a lot of names and they're not talking about those names. And no one's going to be held accountable because nobody wants anyone to be held accountable, because if you hold someone accountable, they're going to start telling you what they know. This is why no one can go to jail for this. They're going to smear Trump. But trust me, there are a lot of celebrities in Hollywood that aren't going to be named. They're redacting names. They're trying to keep people out of the fray because people who are on the island are going to say, well, look, if I was on the island and you're going to try to throw me in jail, but what about so-and-so? If you say Oprah was on the island and Oprah gets dragged in, she's going to say, well, hey, what about Tom Hanks? Well, what about Will Smith? What about Jada Smith? What about the Prince? What about Netanyahu? Oh, everybody was on that island. But those aren't the things you should be concerned about. We should be concerned about why those people were on that island and the fact that knowing that Jeffrey Epstein had so many people on his list, what were they getting from him? How is he getting his money? Who funded this man? Well, we know that he worked with the Mossad and he was an Israeli spy working here in America. And their narrative now is to say that he is a Russian spy, as if Russia wants to fund Jeffrey Epstein on a spy expedition here in America. This is what they want you to believe, that Russia, Putin, wanted to fund Jeffrey Epstein in his attempt to blackmail people and to influence our elections. But we know that is not far from the truth because Epstein was part of the Mossad. He worked with the Mossad. He was trained in Israel. And this is where he got his money. No one can tell you how the guy got his money. They can't tell you how he got an island, his expensive apartment in New York. They can't tell you anything about how this guy got his wealth, but they surely want to tell you that Donald Trump was his pal. I think Bill Clinton was his pal more because there's a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress on the wall on the island. But no one's going to make that claim. They're not going to say, "Oh yeah, well, why would there be a picture of Bill and not of Donald Trump?" I don't think there are any pictures of Donald Trump on that island. So everything that they're telling you or trying to tell you is nothing but a false claim. As CNN says, without any evidence, the media is falsely claiming. The media is smearing the president. This is how they say it. And we're supposed to sit back and just say, no, that's not true. No. The media is saying without any evidence that Donald Trump is involved with Jeffrey Epstein. To know somebody doesn't mean that you're his pal. To know someone doesn't mean that you endorse what he believes. To know someone doesn't mean that you are engaged in what he's engaged in. Now, there are other people They may have, but see, we don't have any proof of anything. We hear what people are saying, but we have no proof of anything. They can say there were underage girls on that island. And there are some people who may say, well, I was on that island. Well, if you were on that island, then I need to hold you accountable then. And I think, thinking people will do that. If you were on that island, well, did you pass anyone a note to tell them that you were being held against your will? Did you attempt to jump on a plane when those people were leaving and make a scene to say, hey, I'm being held against my will. Let me out off this island. Did any of that occur? Did someone try to jump on a boat and say, let me sneak my way off this island because they're exploiting me? I'm being abused. I don't think anyone has ever said that. And we as a thinking public need to get out of this idea that just because a woman says something means that those are the facts. Just because a woman years later, after she's been used up, after she's given herself all the fun and joy she wanted, willingly, knowingly, we have to say she's a victim. We're going to have to say, well, everyone else has to be held accountable, but we're not going to hold you accountable, even though they come out and they say, we want money. Well, didn't you get enough? Didn't you get enough? You're hobnobbing with the celebrities. You're drinking and eating, having a great time. I'm sure they have their own pictures of these people saying, hey, I was with this guy. Hey, I was with that guy. Hey, I was talking to that guy. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that. Because having your fun and then playing victim is par for the course here in America. We allow people to have their fun. It's like going to an expensive restaurant. You go to an expensive restaurant, you drink all you can until you're drunk, you eat all the food until you're full, and then when the check comes, you go, burp. I really didn't like that at all. That was the worst food I ever had. Matter of fact, I don't even think I'm going to pay for that. Matter of fact, let me call the police because that food was so terrible. I'm just going to have to complain. And this is what people have been doing. It's irresponsible. We allow them to be irresponsible. And we have people like Epstein. Epstein is a guy that basically was into some weird stuff. I don't know how weird because they're not showing you how weird. But there's a lot of weirdos in Hollywood. And Jeffrey Epstein was buddies with a lot of people in Hollywood. Jeffrey Epstein funded a lot of politicians. We're asking the wrong questions. You should be asking yourself, why were these people involved with Jeffrey Epstein? What was it about him that allured them to him? What was it that said, hey, that guy Epstein has money. I better go ask him for some funding for my account, for my campaign. That guy Epstein is out there. Hey, let me go out there and talk to him about trades. Let me give him some insider trading information. That guy Jeffrey Epstein is out there. Let me call him and ask him for lunch. This is what was going on. You have people out there asking Jeffrey Epstein for favors. Who is Jeffrey Epstein? Where did he come from? What is his backing? What is his angle? No one can tell you any of those things. What was he here for? Aside from the parties and gathering girls, because a lot of guys, a lot of people can have parties and gather girls. Everybody from hip hop artists to people in Hollywood, politicians. Trust me, there are rumors of people in Hollywood and in Congress having parties. That's not new. They're saying that even people in Congress have these private parties where weird things go on. So Jeffrey Epstein is supposed to be different? Hollywood is supposed to be different? No, they're not different. So when you start to put one and one together, you say, hey, These guys are one and the same. They're involved in the same type of activity. They're involved in the same type of activity. It's just one is pointing at the other saying, hey, look at that guy. Look, hey, don't look over here. Look over there. What about that guy? Because Oprah's been involved with all the weirdos. And no one's talking about that. Every sexual deviant, Oprah has some type of contact with. She's a woman with no children. She's a woman with a lot of money. She has a lot of access. She has a platform. You don't think Oprah's using her platform for debaucherous activity? These people in Hollywood are always endorsing weird activity. Look at the Grammys. You have people, a bunch of degenerates, all in one room. People who indulge in all types of weird behavior. But they sit here in front of you, patting themselves on the back and telling you how you live poorly and they live well, and you must listen to them because they know more than you. And this is what Hollywood and Jeffrey Epstein have in common. But you still have to ask yourself, why were these politicians like Jasmine Crockett and Hakeem Jeffries, why were they asking this man for money? There are a lot of people who have money in this country, but why were they asking Jeffrey Epstein for money? Asking him to go to lunch? Why aren't these people being dragged in saying, hey, why are you involved with this guy? And he's known for having an island and engaging in uh, immoral activity. Why were you involved with him? They're asking the wrong questions. They're throwing Trump under the bus. They're just, no, Trump is a distraction. Trump really isn't even important. The important thing is, why were so many people looking to get in contact with this guy? And the fact that he gave money to everybody, how was he able to do that? They can't even tell you how he made his money. So how is he giving money to everyone? And why were they told, contact this guy for your money? Or was there a long list of people and they said, hey, he's just one on the list. Just go ahead and contact everybody. And hopefully someone will, because that could happen. You can have a bunch of people and they say, hey, these are the donors. And they go out there and they solicit funds from the donors. But the simple fact of the matter is, Jeffrey Epstein was not a guy who just jumped on the radar. He's been there for a while, and he had access to everyone. He was known as the playboy. He was known as the guy to get in contact with. So my question again is, who gave him his money? And the fact that he has video, supposedly, of people, we haven't seen that. I think they're just throwing stuff out there, trying to throw stuff against the wall to see what sticks. But this guy supposedly has video of people. If he has people on video, that means we're blackmailing people. He wants favors. And if he wants favors, what is he asking? What is he asking for? There are a lot of questions. They're out there. They want you to just, basically bash Trump so they can try to impeach him and try to affect the election. That's basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to affect the upcoming election in the midterm so they can impeach Trump and say, oh yeah, he was pals with Jeffrey Epstein. We should get this pedo out of office. But you had 4 years. If you had any proof, you had 4 years to do it. Obviously, you have nothing because you had access to these files. If you had video of Donald Trump doing anything, all the things they did to keep Donald Trump out of the White House by making up fake charges, hauling him into court, arresting him in Georgia, getting his mugshot, they're going to try to tell you now, oh, we have proof. Well, why didn't you use it before? You had all the files. You guys had control of everything. You destroyed the country. And now all of a sudden, oh, we got to get to the bottom of this. Democrats are crafty, but they're not that smart. They're able to fool the low IQ individuals in this country, the mouth breathers, the knuckle draggers, the smooth brain people, the 50 IQ people. They'll fool them all day long. This is why they watch MSNBC. This is why they watch CNN. These people are out here. Uh, they're just out here to cause chaos. And you see them. You see those people. They're out in the streets. They're out there protesting, and that's what all they do. They know how to protest. They don't know how to make the country better, but they know how to protest. They'll go out, they'll shout at people, they'll yell at ICE officers, but the simple fact of the matter, if you ask them, "Why are you out here?" they wouldn't be able to tell you. They don't have a clue. They just know that they were told to be somewhere. Many of them are paid, and they're just out there because they're supposed to be. Make enough chaos, cause enough of a distraction, and we'll put you on video. It's funny the cameras are out there, but the police aren't. Sort of like the civil rights movement. You got all these people on camera, and the cameras just happen to be there when the action is going down, but the police aren't. This stuff is staged. This stuff is staged. They're told where to go, just like with Don Lemon. They all contacted each other. They met up. They said, "Hey, we're going to go over here and we're going to yell at these people in the church and we're going to go out there and cause a ruckus." Why? Because some ICE agent goes to that church. He attends that church. Let's go out there and cause trouble. Why? Why would you want to do that? But you had enough brain dead idiots that said, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Hold all of our beers. We're going to jump out of our vehicles, go run inside of a church." And why would you choose a church? Because these people don't believe in God. They have no morals. They promote every last sick thought and behavior that you can think of. But yet they'll say, "Oh my God. Oh, thoughts and prayers." They don't believe in God one bit. None of them. And I don't think anyone in our politics believes in God. They believe in themselves. These people are self-serving because they don't represent the people. They don't believe in our Constitution. They are out here to make money for themselves, not their constituents. Because if you go to most of these areas that they represent, these people are lacking. These people are suffering. American people are suffering because they're not represented. And if you're not representing the people, there needs to be a law that says, "Hey, if you're not representing the people, then you get kicked out. We will all sign a petition and say, 'Hey, this is not what we asked for. This guy has to go.' If we find you taking money from lobbyists like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, as Eric Adams was, if we find that you are out here taking money from AIPAC or Israeli lobbyists, you have to go. Get the hell out of office. We will ban you from talking to anyone in politics. You can't lobby. You can't influence. You need to go." But they won't do that because they love the money. We need an overhaul of our government. And it's going to take an individual to come to power with a party with the same beliefs, with the same determination and agenda to say, "We're going to clean house. We're going to run out all these crazies who are taking money. We need to investigate everyone in our politics. We need to say, hey, how did you get into office? Who are your donors? How much did they give you? What do they want? And you need to tell us what they ask you for. And we need full disclosure of what they were asking you. Because these politicians get up there, they give you a nice spiel. They tell you, "Oh yeah, I'm for the Constitution. Oh, I'm gonna clean up." But when they get into office, they're basically dead in the water. They don't do anything for the people. They're basically doing the bidding of their donors. So we need to get money out of politics, corporations, foreign countries, billionaires, there needs to be a certain amount that someone can donate to you. And there needs to be a stipulation that says they can't make any requests of you. The only people that can make any request of you are the people in your district that you represent. If they don't live in your district, they shouldn't be talking to you. Matter of fact, why would anyone outside of your district be being supporting your campaign? That's a good question. If I live in BF Egypt and I've got 50 people that live there, or maybe 100 people there, why would someone outside of my district fund me? That's a good question. And why is it allowed? Why is it allowed? Because they understand it's a game. It's not for you. So if gentleman A is only has like 100 people in his district and he's getting money from those 100 people, maybe, okay, fine. He's getting money from maybe 40 of those people, maybe from 50 of those people, and his opposition is getting another 50. Well, whoever gives him more money out of those 50 than the 50 out of the other guy, well, maybe, that'll say, hey, I have more of an opportunity to fund my campaign. I'm able to get out and do more. And I'm going to represent the people that are funding me and the people I represent. That is real. But when you have people out here taking money from billionaires, and the billionaires like Jeffrey Epstein that don't live in your district, the question is, what did you give him or promise him to get that money? And if he's giving you money, is it something directly he wants or something indirectly? Do you have to vote a certain way? Is there something coming up that you need to vote on for him to, give you this money? Because Hakeem Jeffries wanted to have lunch with him. And you have to ask yourself, hey, Hakeem, if you were going to have lunch with Jeffrey Epstein, what were you going to talk about? Were you going to talk about what he wanted you to do for him? Because he doesn't live in your district. So why are you asking a guy that doesn't live in your district for support? Because now you're not representing the people in your district. You're saying, hey, I'm looking to give out favors. I'm doing the Hunter Biden. I'm going all around the world looking for money to sell my dad's influence so you can give me money. And I'm still surprised no one has held Joe Biden accountable for that type of behavior. He used his son to go around. Whatever happened to those paintings? He became an artist, and all of a sudden, Hunter Biden isn't being an artist anymore. He sold lots of pictures to Chinese oligarchs, but he's no longer a painter. If I was a painter and I could sell paintings for $500,000 to people, you think I'm going to stop doing that? You're crazy. You're crazy as heck. I would be painting in my sleep if everyone wanted to buy my paintings for $500,000. I'd be painting right now and making as much as I could. I'd make a painting every hour. I'd just draw lines and just sell it. They were like, that guy he's just selling, he's selling paintings daily. He's just racking in the dough. But he wasn't selling paintings because he was an artist. He was selling influence. And he had to find a way to get that guy money, which he passed on to his father. Our politics are broken. This is a broken country. I used to be a believer. I used to be a believer in our country, our politicians. I fell for their fake anger when they said, oh, the country is headed in the wrong direction. We need to do something about it. Hey, I'm going to go to Congress and I'm going to stand up for the people. I fell for that. And I believe many of you are still falling for it. They're selling you a dream and it's a lie. They don't care about you. There's no such thing as a Democrat and a Republican because they're all, as we find out from Jeffrey Epstein, he was funding everybody. So don't tell me there's a difference between a Democrat and a Republican. You have conservatives who believe in the country, and you have progressives who think the country should go in a different direction. And if you don't understand that these people are all on the take, I don't care who it is. If it's Vance, if it's Donald Trump, if it's Ramaswamy, if it's Clinton, if it's Harris, these people are all on the take. They're doing nothing for you. They're giving you lip service. They're out here telling you, oh, I'm going to stand up, for this cause and that cause. No, you're not. You're going to do what your donors told you to do. You're going to vote and create policy for your donors. I don't want to fight in Ukraine. Why are you there? You couldn't just send like a note saying, hey, will you guys cut it out? But you send billions of dollars. I don't want to fund anything in the Middle East for people to fight. Send them a note going, hey, sorry you guys are fighting. You guys need to work that out, and we'll talk to whoever's still alive. How about that? Because American taxpayer dollars should not be funding external wars that don't benefit us. We're funding wars that don't benefit us. What did we get out of Afghanistan? What did we get out of Iraq? We didn't get the oil. The Brits got the oil. We didn't get it. So what is the benefit? We lose soldiers. We lose money. We go into debt. For what? So we can probably influence someone that we have to take out later. We propped up a lot of people that we had to go back in later to take out. Our country is dysfunctional. We aren't represented. America should be a place where we live, where our politicians encourage us to have as many children as we want. They tax us very little. And that's basically local tax. Local tax so you can have nice roads, better schools, a good police department, maybe a nice park for your children to play in, better a better electrical grid nationally, better communication services. Those things should be the focus of our politicians. Encouraging our kids to go to school to be the next generation of contributors in America. We should be training, the interview the other day with Donald Trump was very, very revealing because they were trying to get a gotcha on him, and he made perfect sense. He said, the foreigners that we were kicking out, they were trying to kick out, they worked in a battery factory. These people make batteries all day long, and they're the best at it. So he said, why would we deport them when we need them in the factory? We just can't pull Joe Schmo off the street and say, hey, go in that battery factory and make batteries. But that's a hard truth no one wants to hear. Our kids aren't learning. Our kids aren't keeping up with technology. Our kids are on TikTok. Our kids are on Instagram showing their bodies. Our kids are on OF. You have our girls on OnlyFans, and they think that's the best thing ever. This is what our kids are doing. Our kids are out there fiending for these YouTube stars. I don't even know if they're celebrities, these YouTube personalities. That's what our kids are doing. So when someone says, hey, we have to go outside of America to get talent, people get all bent out of shape. I'm sorry. Truth is truth. Reality is reality. We have kids who are absolutely worthless. to the development of our country. We have to go get Chinese people. We have to go get Korean people. We have to go get Indian people because their people are actually learning. They have a more homogenous society where they don't have foreigners in there taking over because they are saying, we're going to invest in our people and we want our people to direct and guide the development and the future of our country. Countries like China aren't saying, hey, all you people out of the East, come on over here and join our society. No, they're not doing that because they understand this is our culture. We want our culture to remain the same. And we don't want outside influences coming into our country, especially trying to influence our politics. Only in America can you get people to come in, change your culture, change your values, change your laws, steal our money, and think that that's okay. Only in America will you have that. It's insane. And we are allowing this to happen in our faces, in the face of the taxpayers. We're saying to everyone, come on over here to America. We'll give you everything you want. But if you are an American citizen, you can't have anything. We're going to make excuses for why you can't have anything. This is the country we live in. I'm not telling any lies. This is the country we live in. A country that says we're going to send money to other countries, but we're going to say to our people who pay those taxes, the people who live here in this country, we don't have anything for you. What is wrong if the government said, hey, you know what? If families have 4 to 5 children, that will increase our population. We're going to encourage the citizens of America to have more babies because we need more talent. And when you come out, sort of like with Trump, I'm going to give you accounts to have your children invest in. And then we're going to let that money grow. They won't be able to touch until they're 18. And we're going to build our economy to allow those, hopefully, have those accounts grow. And then the growth of those early accounts, those children hopefully will have enough money to live off of when they become adults. We encourage them not to touch it, just to let it grow. And then we encourage them to go to school. And we're going to encourage kids to go into fields that we need. We're going to do STEM. We're going to do agriculture. We're going to have them in engineering because we need those things. But what does America do? America is saying, well, we want to encourage we want to encourage girls to not have babies. We're going to encourage our girls to pursue careers and not, have family values. We want them to have corporate values. We want them to go seek a job rather than a man. We're going to encourage women to be with other women. We're going to encourage men to be with other men. We're going to tell them that you can get rid of your baby if you become pregnant at any time. We're going to say, it's free and easy. And we're going to fight for it in the streets and tell you that a baby is a virus and it's not good for you. And that society is so bad that we don't want you to have that child. This is what we're going to encourage our citizenry to do. But yet and still, when you have foreigners coming to the country, they want them to have as many babies as they want. And matter of fact, you can have your babies for free. We will give you WIC. We'll give you welfare. We'll take care of you and that child. We'll give that kid free education. This is what the government is doing to us. This is what the government is doing to our children. This is what the government is doing to the women in our society. Is telling them that you don't need a man. Is telling them that you don't need a family. You need to be a slave to the corporate entity, and you will waste all of your youth slaving for the corporations. It's sort of like the Matrix. You're just a battery. You're a workhorse. You're here to give us what we want. You're not going to get what you want, which is a family and to feel complete and to have something left when you leave. Leaving a legacy is the goal of most men and women, but we are being indoctrinated, brainwashed to think that a family is a hassle, a burden, that women think that children are a burden. A lot of women now say that they only want one child. They don't want a family because life has become so easy that they can say, well, I don't want a family. I just want to have my career. I want to travel. I just want to have hot girl summers. I just want to sleep with as many men as I want and lose my ability to bond. And I'm going to have fun doing it. And this is what people are doing today. They have no intentions of getting married. They say that all men are bad. You have men saying, hey, there are no women out there. There are no wives out there. They're destroying every foundation of stability in this country. America is not stable. I know, people want it to be stable, but America is not stable. This country is out of control, and we're living in this chaos as if it's normal. It's not normal. We have sexual degenerates running our country. We have sexual degenerates running through our country. We have sexual degenerates influencing us as well as our offspring. And we're doing nothing about it. We're not turning the television off. People aren't turning the television off. Matter of fact, they're just watching it. They're engaged in it. They're telling you about housewives of New York, the housewives of Orange County, the housewives of Atlanta. They're telling you about all these sick women who aren't wives at all, who are basically just bitter females, for lack of a better word, who are out here talking about how bad their exes are, how they're spending the money of their exes, how they're benefiting from the exes that they hate. And they're out here showing you that, hey, I'm masculine. I'm not really a good wife. I'm not a good mother because they never show you interacting with their children. They never show you interactions with men. All you hear is arguments and threats of violence. And this is what they're teaching our children, our women. They're teaching our women to be masculine and hateful and devious. And these are the women that boys are going to have to select as wives. And now boys are saying, I don't want to be involved in that. And people are saying, why are people not getting married? I'm so shocked. People aren't getting married. They're not going to get married because the product is faulty. You don't buy a car if it doesn't run. You don't buy a car if it won't start. You don't buy a car if the suspension is shaky. So why would you engage with a woman who's not feminine? Why would you engage with a woman who doesn't want to be a mother? Why would you engage with a woman who doesn't want to be a wife? And who's going to try to leave you after 4 to 5 years? That's a bad investment. Why would you encourage someone to do that? I would run away from those people. And men are running away from those people. And our government is behind it. How can the government encourage people not to have children? How can a government make life so miserable that people say, I can't afford a family because they're taxing the heck out of me? They're not even giving incentives to have family. So why would you engage in that? You have a government that says, oh, we'll give money to foreigners. We won't give any money to you. If you said to people, we'll give you tax credits for the children you have. Matter of fact, we'll help you, with the education of those children. You have a choice. You can either do homeschooling and we'll give you a credit for being at home with your children. And hey, because it's your money, they're not doing you any favors by saying we're not going to tax you. They're not giving you anything. If you're paying taxes, if you're a contributing person in this country, which everyone should be contributing, no one should be sitting at home collecting a check. But if you're a working person and you're hardworking and you're contributing to society, there's no way in hell you should be told no, you can't have your money or your money can't work for you. And we're not demanding that our money works for us. We're just sitting back saying, whatever you guys want to give us, we'll take it. We're not telling people, hey, that's our money. It should be working for us. Why is my school failing? Why are the scores so bad? Then we need to supplement those things. Why are math scores low? We need to supplement. We need to find a new way to explain the subject if people aren't getting it. We don't lower the curriculum. We don't say, oh, well, we're just going to have to give people B's and C's and D's so they can pass. That's not helping. And that's what we're doing. We're passing on kids who aren't learning, who don't deserve to be advanced, and they're failing not only in school, but if they're graduating undeservedly, they're failing in society. Everyone can't work at Sonic and McDonald's. Everyone can't work at the car wash. Everyone can't hold a sign on the corner. We need people to be productive. We need to teach people who aren't really book smart. Hey, you know what? If you're not book smart, hey, how about working with your hands? Let's bring automotive back into schools. Let's bring woodshop back into schools. Let's bring home ec back into schools so our kids can actually have some skills to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can use these things I learned in school and say, I can start my own business. I don't want to work for someone else. I want to have a business in my home, or I can open a business and I can go out and build my own. They're not teaching you that. They're teaching kids about global warming. They're teaching kids about uh, 50 genders. They're teaching kids about how to be influencers. They're teaching kids everything they don't need to develop them as human beings. They're teaching kids everything to keep them in the dark. And our kids are lost. And we're not looking forward to saying, hey, in 10 years, what are these people going to do? Where are they going to be? Because they're not going to be productive, I tell you that. They're definitely not going to be productive in 10 years. These people are going to be on psych meds. They're going to be on antidepressants. These people are going to have counseling because they're so sensitive. They can't deal with reality. They live in this fantasy world. You have kids now who think just because I'm an influencer, I'm going to make millions of dollars. Doing what? I don't even think these people that are influencers really make this money. I think these people are propped up because some of them, you're like, what value does that guy have? And if someone was to see this person who didn't watch YouTube or was on TikTok or Instagram, would they even know who these people were? And the answer is a resounding no. There are people who are on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, and they're put in commercials. You're like, who is that? Because I didn't know most of the people that were at when they showed the Grammys. I'm like, who's that person? I don't know these people. But apparently they're supposed to be important because they get views, because they have subscribers. People are now known for how many subscribers you have. You're now known for how many views you get. You're now known for, hey, what crazy act did you do out in public, to offend someone? Ooh, that guy almost got into a fight. This is what's making people so-called popular. Gone are the days of the celebrity who had charisma, class, who had some values. We have people who are out here doing stupid things to get views. And these are the people who are supposed to be celebrities and popular. And these are the people that are influencing you. So when you have people that are trying to, knock on people's doors or stealing packages or approaching people in public, saying insulting things. That's supposed to be acceptable. What happened to our class? What happened to our dignity? What happened to our common courtesy in public? You have people going up to men and asking if they could give their telephone numbers to their wives. And this is supposed to be funny. You have people snatching stuff from people and running off. That's supposed to be funny. There's this one video with this girl that approaches other girls and or guys, and she's threatening them. That's supposed to be funny. So when these people get injured, we're supposed to feel sorry for them. And there's some influencers who have lost their lives because of stupid pranks. So now America is a society of pranks. You had the knockout game. You have people just randomly just mobbing people. And this is acceptable in our society. We're becoming animals and it's becoming normal, and no one is trying to fix it. We're not putting people in jail anymore. We're saying, well, like the one Democrat politician said, we don't want to throw them in jail because we don't want to ruin their futures. But you don't mind the fact that they've killed people. You don't mind the fact that they've injured people. You don't mind the fact that they've destroyed property. This is where we are today in a civilized country. We have people out there holding signs talking about give the country back to the natives. Why? I've been to the res. There's nothing there. If you can't run the res, how can you run a country? If you can't run the ghetto, how can you run a country? Why would we want to give control of our country to people who are incompetent? People who can't even run their households, people who can't run a neighborhood. You got people living in neighborhoods that no one wants to drive through, nor want to live in, but they're telling you that they can run the country. Here are all of these people. I can run the country. Where do you live? You live in a ghetto. You live in the projects. You can't run crap. Why are you even talking? Who put the mic in front of that dude? It's like, why are we allowing people to have why are we allowing people to be so arrogant that they can jump out in public and say, we should give it to this group because this group of people, they've been oppressed. You're not oppressed in America. America is a place where if you start out poor, you can become wealthy or you can become middle class. America is a place where people who don't even belong here can come and rip us off. People who don't belong here can come and stand on the corner, sell oranges, sell flowers, and make a living. You can't do that in other countries. Go try that in some other country. Go sell flowers on the corner of any South American country. They'll beat you up. The police will throw you in jail and you will suffer. But only in America can we sit here and say, oh, I'm an oppressed person because of my gender, my religion, my color, the language I speak, and I want extra benefits. I want everyone to respect me. I want everyone to bow down to me. I want everyone to say, oh, you can't say that about that person or say things about this person. Or it's just a silly game we're playing here in America. And it doesn't help us to move forward when you have Marxists in our country practicing their agenda to separate people. America is failing. And a country cannot survive without, number one, God. A country can't survive without enforcing its laws. A country can't survive without enforcing its borders. And our country can't survive when our politicians are bought off by lobbyists, foreign countries, and billionaires. It's a lost cause, and something has to be done about it. And we really need to turn this thing around quickly because right now We're in a spiral. We just don't know it. We're in a very dangerous spiral. In this country, I guarantee you, give it 10 years, this country will not be recognizable. It won't be a recognizable country. It's going to be a country that people who are older are going to say, where did we go wrong? People are going to say, man, we should have done something. We should have been out there protesting for real causes, not about, oh, the oligarchs, oh, the billionaires, we're gonna, global warming. That is foolishness. We need to have people out there saying, hey, get money out of politics. Hey, no more foreign influence. Hey, you represent us or you're out of office. Hey, stop feeding our children preservatives that are causing autism. Stop doctoring our food up with preservatives that are killing us and causing all types of health issues. What about that? I could get behind those types of causes. If someone was out there actually fighting for things that really mattered, that affected our daily lives, then I could say, you know what? I got to get behind that because that's going to affect me. That's going to affect everyone around me. And I don't want people around me to be affected because it's a drain on the system. And if it's a drain on the system, we can't move forward. But people aren't fighting for those types of things. They're fighting for frivolous things. Get ICE out of such and such, out of such and such. ICE is doing its job. I'm sorry that you've had 4 years of people who didn't want to do their job. They didn't enforce the law. They didn't even know what was going on, and they got away with it. Now you have a guy that's enforcing the law, and everyone's upset. Topsy-turvy world. But let me know what you think. Drop me a line. You can send me a message down below. And until next time, this is Ace Capone signing off. Peace. And I'm gone.